friends, my name is Amanda with Manda Panda Projects, and today I have the first Craftins craft of the summer bundle with this gorgeous distressed American flag napkin, and we are making a book stack with some thrifted books, you guys. Okay, so I went to the thrift store, and I got 3 books. Only one of them is hardcover because they're half the price, and I wanted to see if I could get away with using soft cover on the bottom ones, and I totally did, and it worked out just fine. So as long as the top one is hardcover, I think you're good. So I just took them and then I painted the top one all white, and then the bottom 2, I just did like the spine, and then I painted around the edges in case any of it showed. I didn't even bother to paint the whole middle because it's going to be covered up because it's going to be stacked on top of each other anyways. So I did 1 full coat with my Waverly Plaster chalk paint, and then I went back through with like a second coat and I did the spines and anywhere else I just need a little bit of touch up with the second coat. So after all 3 of those were done, we're going to go ahead and get the napkin on here. But I just want to tell you to make sure that you are following my page, Manda Panda Projects, or subscribe to my channel because summer is coming and we got lots of cute crafts coming up, and I would love it if you would follow along. Okay, so I took my napkin and then I just sized it out. I wanted to see if I could fit it across the entire book, but it would have made the blue part like really long and it wouldn't have quite looked like a flag. So I just cut some extra of the red and white part off of the other side of the napkin, and then I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to line it up. So once I got that cut, I took and peeled the plies apart, got it down to 1 ply. This is just a 2-ply napkin, so it was really easy to get apart. I used my Mod Podge, did a nice thin coat on top of the book, laid it down as straight as I could, got as much as the wrinkles out. Now, I always say embrace the wrinkles, especially for something like this, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grunge it up after, so the wrinkles just add to the character and the charm of it. Okay, so I got that down, and then I just lined up that other piece, and once, honestly, you could not even tell that it was not just one napkin. You could not even tell it was lined up, so totally worked just fine that way. I took my little Gator sander, and I sanded off all the edges, and I noticed it was coming up a little bit there, so I had to kind of go and fix it. I just added a little more Mod Podge, sanded it down, dried it off, you know. All right, so now we're going to put the books together. I used some E6000. You can get away with hot glue, you guys. I just threw some E6000 on there because I'll make sure it's going to stay together forever. And then I just used hot glue for like a, quick hold. And then the E6000, once that cures, it'll hold it forever. And then I realized I want to paint the bottom because, it's a piece of decor. And I know you can't see the bottom, but it just looks more finished that way. So I did go ahead and paint the bottom halfway through. All right, and then I got the top book placed on. So see, now we got all the books, but they are awfully white. That napkin is like distressed, and I just wanted to go with an overall, like an old stack of books that has been sitting there for years and years and years, collecting dust. So of course we added our Kiehl's Dark Wax. I used a paintbrush to get it like into the cracks, and that just helps bring out the division between each of the books and makes them look more like 3 prominent books rather than like one big one. And then I took my little, what is it called? Blending brush. Yeah, blending brush. Got this from Amazon. I love using this. I only recently discovered it. I had it forever. It was in my stash, but I used it and I loved it. So I used a blending brush to get all around the top of the book stack. I concentrated nice and heavily on the corners, and then I went in and got all the edges. I even got the pages in between, on the edges, everything. So once I did that for a little while and I felt like it was grunged up enough, I moved on to the stamps. So the first one I did, I realized, okay, stamping it is not going to work so great. So I had to kind of like roll it because the book isn't like completely flat across. So I had to like roll it from bottom to top. So I stamped them all, like roll from bottom to top. And I went from right to left to make sure that I lined it up good. And it's going to say stars and stripes. So once I got to the word and, I could not get in there. That middle book was like indented. So I couldn't use the block, but the stamp stuck to my finger. It stuck to my finger and it worked just fine like that. Tell you the truth, it was even easier. So I might be doing that from now on. I just stuck it right to my finger and it worked perfectly. And now we are wrapping a little bit of twine around the left-hand side of the book stack. I did it in like a figure eight, I guess. It's like not really a figure eight, a crisscross fashion. I just wrapped it up, and then once I thought it was thick enough, I went ahead and cut the twine, and then I glued it down to the bottom of the book. And then I go ahead and I'm going to do a twine little, I don't know if you even call it a bow. I just wrap it around my fingers a bunch of times. And then I take an extra piece of twine, I pinch it in the middle, and then I tie it off in the middle. So it's basically just like a loopy twine bow. Once I got that all tied, I just kind of like fluff it out with my fingers, kind of spread it out. This is kind of like a figure eight, I guess. And then I glued it right there to the top where the twine meets. And then I took a rusty star. These are from Amazon as well. Glued that to the front, added a little shoestring bow to the top, and voila, there it is. So easy, you guys. I just thought this was a perfect craft for this napkin, little patriotic book stack. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys think of this? You can make this with any napkin, of course. Doesn't have to be a Craftkin, but it does work so well for this flag napkin. Let me know what you think.